Hey, what's up everyone? It is the one and only Teapot here once again, and I'm back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 for the Game Boy. So last time we have basically just managed to able to, well, accomplish everything in terms of Rice Beach, the very first world in the game. And today, we're about to begin the forms of the second world of the game, known as Empty Teapot, or as it stands for, Mount Teapot. So even then though, because as you can tell from the actual shape of the world map, we're gonna be exploring from the actual, the actual teapot itself. But of course, the first level in this world is gonna be involved around a lot of swimming. And as a result, we're able to actually just deal with this a lot for the sake of a lot of those levels in Mount Teapot as a result. With a couple of exceptions, but either way though, we'll point it out whenever we get into the forms of, the actual world itself. So either way though, there's not much else I can honestly try to say, apart from the fact that, usually I'm just really looking forward to able to actually just get things started in terms of the, any other Wario Land games I would love to tackle through, because I'm actually really looking forward to the series as a result. Because I usually watch some of those other Let's Plays before, and also I did manage to play those on my own time as well, thanks to the forms of the 3DS eShop version of the games. And overall, I did have a really have an enjoyable time with them. And one is also applied for the Wii U eShop version of Wario Land 4. And also the actual Wario Land, the Shake Dimension, that I usually had that since 2008. So, but either way though, we'll talk more about those games in the future. So even then though, yeah. That's how it goes basically. And of course, if you see those little weird objects with those little, with these little spiky balls and stuff like that, these are basically just bombs, basically. And every time you touch them, basically they'll start to activate them if you touch them, and you're gonna have to avoid the explosion. So, yeah, that's the whole entire suggest for that part. So, and oh goody, we got ourselves Jet Wario, because Jet Wario will be a godsend in this level, because either way though, or for the sake of time, the majority of everything in this game, because that way you can able to get yourselves a much more bigger top speed, and also is the fact that you can able to actually skip some of those sections if you don't feel like trying to go for harder sections in particular. Oh, I was so close to get those coins from up there. Oh well, no big deal. But at least, hopefully we'll be able to try to deal with that. Well, there might be some other secrets I can think about it, but usually, relatively speaking, that I don't feel like trying to able to go through some secret rooms here and there, just because, turns out about the fact that, if you really desperately want to get the best ending of the game, it actually requires multiple things in order to able to actually get the perfect ending, as opposed to, the great ending. Ah, dang it, I lost my Jet Wario. I really need to keep that at all times, but nope, the stupid seahorse looking enemy just managed to screw me up. Anyway though, yeah, it actually requires, we need to collect all 15 treasures, which literally there are 15 treasures in the whole entire game, so that makes it pretty obvious. And, another thing you need to complete is, of course, all 40 courses. And also, to top it off, you need to max out your coins counter up to 99,999 coins. So, even though it might be taking forever to able to actually accomplish this fact, but it turns out there's actually a secret about this whenever we, although I'm not going to show this to you right now, just because, I think I should probably save that up until whenever we get to the end game of all things, because, we've already just got started, so either way though, today's day is of course the 4th of February today, in this case in 2021, and it looks like we've only got about 10 more days to go until Valentine's Day is usually a thing, and also to top it off is that we've only got about 8 more days left until, the Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is going to be releasing. So either way though, still very excited about that particular game as always, and yeah, for the looks of the actual gameplay, I'm actually really excited for that. Especially noticeable some of those I believe that some Toys Else also mentions that during the Forms of Night's Journey of Dreams Let's Play so far. And yeah, we're pretty much hyped at this rate, because either way though, we see the actual gameplay footage of it really for right now, and it turns out I'm actually really excited for it, because it looks very similar to Super Mario Odyssey, but with 3D world physics. So yeah, that makes it totally obvious for that specific things itself. So either way though, we're not gonna spoil major things majorly, just because, well, we'll have to wait until when the game actually finally comes out. So even then though, well, we're pretty sure that the 3D world portion is pretty much exactly the same as the Wii U version, aside from, like, you know, a lot of gameplay improvements and all that stuff though, which makes it totally obvious. And also we actually did see the first gameplay footage of the, well, there was actually 4-player mode in terms of Captain Toad levels. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Especially noticeable that it almost reminds me of, oh, son of a biscuit. I really hate these bird enemies. They're kind of annoying and inconsistent, say. Well, to be fair though, those enemies does remind me of a similar enemies as in the forms of Rice Beach, but we'll talk more about that whenever we get onto the later portions of this Let's Play itself. So, anyway though, and yeah, it does remind me of that, one of those Captain Toad levels that you have to deal with the forms of the Toad Brigade levels. That, yeah, it does remind me of that. Like, the same animation, except the fact that, well, you can now able to take control of, like, individual Toads now, such as, for instance, we can now take control of, oh, jeez Louise, you can now take control of the forms of not only just Captain Toad, but Hint Toad, and Bank Toad, and even a Green Toad. So, yeah, that's pretty oh wait, Yellow Toad, as far as I like to say. Because, I know it's been a while since I actually played Captain Toad Treasure Trackers on the Switch, but it turns out that one thing I don't think I actually noticed something is that there was actually the free update thing that I sort of did not know about, and that's what appears to be by the forms of the virtual reality thing that did manage to came out ever since in the forms of July 2019. Even though, aside from that was actually a cool thing, but it turns out that it's one of those things that you go for the exact same levels again, except you're able to play virtual reality thing. So, yeah, I don't feel like trying to show it off, honestly, because, well, it's like the exact same levels, basically, except you're able to actually use, you know, Nintendo Labo virtual reality kit. So, yeah, that's the only thing I can able to describe about that, so. Anyways, let's get into the forms of the next level, as you can see, and, turns out, as you notice, there was actually a double circle, level. This meaning about the fact that this level contains 2 exits. And the secret exit actually leads us to a new world. Or, should I say, the optional world. Because most people don't seem to able to come across into that world as much, but usually for 100% completion, I'm going to be going for the actual optional world anyway. So even then though, and you notice with these coins up there that shows us the arrow sign? Well, this is what the Jet Wario power-up comes into play. And you have to do that, and you have to jump and then just boost yourself all the way over there, and this will lead you to the secret exit. So, and also it leads us to the new world. So, as for the new world itself, well, I'll probably show that off and during at some point in next Tuesday, because obviously this game might take a bit shorter compared to the forms of the future games. Well, one including by the forms of another one of those shortest Wario Land games, which appears to be by the forms of Virtual Boy Wario Land. And that's pretty much how that goes. And yeah, basically this will lead us to some sort of like a glacier environment. But again, we're not gonna go for that just yet though, because we now need to take care of the rest of Mount Teapot. So either way though, and I do apologize what's going on my computer right now, but it's just most of the time, if I was gonna able to actually just well, try to do something, mainly with like recording sessions or anything else like that, I swear to God, it always attempted able to like, well, get some a little bit of a freezing pauses every once in a while, which is a little bit annoying, but either way though, sometimes I might get used to it, so. Okay, something's worth mentioning for this point as well, in terms of any other Let's Plays in our channel that you've known in the past. Obviously, do you remember the forms of our Let's Play of Mario vs. Donkey Kong that I believe what Piglet already did done back in 2015, all the way up to 2016? turns out that we no longer have ourselves our original Let's Play of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, sadly. Although it's nothing bad for the actual quality, it sure looks good in all. However though, commentary-wise, it's a bit different story. Just because, well, obviously, with the sound mixing issues, it's pretty obnoxious, I'm telling you. Well, not so much obnoxious, but it's just that, well, you can't really hear the actual commentary as much. The only thing you can only hear is just background music and all that stuff during gameplay, which I'm fine with, because Mario vs. Donkey Kong is actually a really cool game. Especially noticeable as one of my favorite games on the Game Boy Advance because of my nostalgia reasons. And, hopefully we'll try and able to do that game again, but until at some point in November for the sake of this year, as a matter of fact. So, oh jeez Louise, almost gonna give myself explosion. But thankfully we did manage to avoid that. Oh, what the heck? I've no idea why I survived that, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take it for sure. So, yeah, another thing that's worth pointing out in terms of the forms of, when it comes to likely for everything else on our channel. Originally, we were going to be doing a marathon for the sake of this year, but it's going to be delayed once again, except it's now going to take place in 2022. So, it will be a Mega Man Marathon Part 2, or just Mega Man X Marathon, just because, well, usually relatively speaking, we haven't done that much of Mega Man games these days since 2018 because of the celebration release of Mega Man 11. So, yeah, that might be something usually summarized for that such. So, either way though, now let's go ahead and move on to the next level, in this case, course number 9. And I believe this level will contain a treasure, so either way though, I believe there are about 2 treasures in this world, so even then though, hopefully we can able to find those exponentially, so either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. Now, you're probably wondering about yourself, why are you able to actually skipping those bonus games completely? Well, I'm actually going to be able to do these bonus games, well, to be more specifically the luck-based minigame of the bunch, that I'm actually going to be doing those, assuming if I get my coins counter reaches up to 100 or more. If it's lesser than 100, then I tend to skip them, so, well, in some occasional moments in certain levels for sure, but either way though, that's how I'm going to do. So either way though, let's go ahead and just continue things upwards here. And trying to able to dodge those hermit crabs. Seriously, I really hate these guys, because sometimes you always run into those guys very easily and such. And to top it all off is the fact that you never know until when they just manage to able to stop in place and then they just block your progression, so you always have to wait. But either way though, that takes care of those. So yeah, the reason why I'm pointing this out with, in addition to this game is kind of short, unlike the future Wario Land games, but there's also the forms of the Virtual Boy, Wario Land game is also kind of short as well. Well, turns out is the fact that, we're able to actually just try to do, Virtual Boy Wario Land at some point during, I would say during the forms of in spring, and then we'll do Wario Land 2 at summer, and then Wario Land 3 will be on autumn this year, and as a result, that Wario Land for the Virtual Boy, although it's a pretty cool game, easily the best Virtual Boy game out there, but it's just a shame that only seemed able to release that game during the Nintendo's miserable failure console, which is of course the Virtual Boy itself, and because of the forms of, well, commercial failures, and also same applies to that really dumb concept. Although, interesting concept in theory, but it's just the fact that they just give a lot of people a lot of seizures, headaches, and also just unbearable to play. So, but either way though, that's all I can say about it. Which I kind of wish if, Virtual Boy Wario Land were able to make its remake on the 3DS, but it doesn't happen, because obviously the Nintendo has recently, discontinued the actual 3DS system, so yeah, that makes it totally obvious to able to actually just can tell they just want to move on to the next console as for now. Alright, I believe this is a room that it will contain a treasure itself. You know that block over there that I'm gonna able to break, as you say? Well, if you think to yourself, oh, this actually contains nothing. Turns out, you can able to actually just find a hidden door. which not only leads you to the treasure. Oh, what's this? We have ourselves a bigger block out of every other blocks, which turns out it contains 100 coins. So yeah, that's actually pretty swell. Especially noticeable that if you really want to like, oh yeah, there's a treasure over there, but now we need to find the key first. I think the key is actually not that far from here though, luckily, so either way though, it's just in this block over there. So either way though, we'll obtain that, and carry it all the way up to the hidden door, and hopefully we should be able to find the treasure door. Excuse me, I'm very sorry about this point, folks, but either way though, let's go in and obtain the second treasure, which appears to be the harp. And then, as a result, we've only got about 13 treasures left. So yeah, all's well and ends well, huh? But anyway though, let's go ahead and continue things on for this point right now. So either way though, we'll try to go ahead and try to avoid any kind of enemies and all that stuff. Oh gosh, these guys. Oh, no. Let's go and spend 10 coins. Ah, dang it. I just got exploded. Go on. There we go. Whew. That's actually pretty close, because if I somehow die during the forms of that specific bomb-like enemies, I will seriously gonna have to go all the way back to the very beginning of the stage, which it won't be that fun. But anyways, let's go ahead and deal with this bonus game from now on though, just to rank up more coins. And the maximum you can only hold up to is 999 coins. So, assuming if you're able to put up with the forms of, well, a lot of gamble luck element to it. So, either way though, because again, it's like a 50-50 chance in between either unlucky or lucky at the same time. So, but either way though, because if you get, like, unlucky for that specific thing itself, then you lose half of your coins. But if you get a coin back, you get a double the amount of coins that you're able to bet on. So, but there you go, folks, that we've pretty much maxed out our coins counter of this for the sake of this game itself. So, but either way though, that should able to lead us to 2,000 or more coins. So, yeah, that's actually pretty swell. And I believe in order able to get the best ending, or the perfect ending to top it off, basically you're gonna have to get your coins counter up to 10,000 or more. So that way that those treasures that I keep on collecting, well, that will actually worth a lot of, like, coins worth. So even then though, that way I should able to point things out during at some point by the end of this Let's Play in general, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens during at some point by the very end of the month. So, for February at least. So, yeah, that's that. And now it's going to move on to course number 10. So, either way though, let's hop into it. There's not much else to say in terms of this world in general. It's just the fact that there are some occasional moments where we're gonna have to do a lot of, like, swimming sometimes. So, but either way though, which I honestly don't mind about that at all, so. Okay, something's worth mentioning for this point too, is that, usually because of how the fact that, much like any forms of, well, I don't know how do I truly explain about this right now, although first things first, let me just go ahead and just use Jet Wario to able to bust out those blocks, until we're able to get not only a whole bunch of coins from down there, but also get the block contain a heart. So, but either way though, seriously, it always reminds me of those moments in Kingdom Hearts, specifically Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, where in that game, you also collect hearts, just because you're the organization member to able to actually just to collect those hearts to complete Kingdom Hearts. Well, at least as far as I'm noticing that already, so. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts though, is the fact that I did somehow for whatever reason re-downloaded the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross game, along with Dark Road game, and on my phone that is. But I still pretty much give up on that game, just because, well, usually for I've seen a lot of YouTube videos out there for their walkthroughs of that game, holy crap, their levels on any enemies are much higher than I thought, which I think that's a bit too much for my liking. So I think, personally, I just want to go back into the previous Kingdom Hearts games and play them there, on the actual consoles, or occasional handhelds like DS or 3DS, or even a PSP as a matter of fact. Speaking of PSP, I managed to actually finally manage to accomplish Terror story, which the only thing it needs left now is the final episode. And good lord, the final episode is really tough in my eyes, just because, again, with Terranord, he's actually, like, really aggravating to fight against, because, well, usually I play on standard mode, which makes it a little bit obvious, because I'm actually gonna be slightly up for difficulty, but oh boy, whenever I play that on critical mode, it will be a lot more hellish. But either way though, that's how it usually goes basically, so either way, yeah, that's as far as I can say. And also I did manage to able to, like, I'm not exactly sure what I was trying to say also, that, originally I was gonna, oh, son of a, seriously, I hate these birds, also, that they just always about to get me. I mean, seriously, what's the point in that? But anyway, we'll, try to go ahead and grab some, even more coins, and we'll grab that heart just in case, or even specifically 10 hearts, so hopefully that should be the case from here. And trying to bust out that enemy over there. And hopefully we should be able to finish up the level. Be very careful of this womp over there, or the thwomp, whatever you want to be more precise. And basically, because again, as I've said this before since the very first part, you do die instantly if you manage to get touched by its sides, because, you know, it's all prickly and spiky. So yeah, you don't want to touch that. So there we go, that pretty much takes care of level 10. And of course, we'll hit on to the next level. We'll hit back onto course 10, or a different course, because we'll point things out whenever we get into it. So for now, let's move on to course number 11. So, but either way though, I believe this level will contain another treasure. So, it's actually pretty easy though for certain treasures, but there are some treasures might be actually be pretty difficult to obtain, or in some cases might be pretty hard to find. So, but either way though, we'll point it out whenever we get into the later progressioning for this Let's Play. So either way though, we'll leave it to that. Alright, so we'll just trying to jump and then just trying to dodge those enemies as much as we can. There we go, that should be worth it. Alright, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that obviously since that the fact that recently we did manage to able to start ourselves our next project on ourselves. And that's what appears to be by the forms of the custom-made Game Boy Advance game cases, which the reason why I had to do this way is because, well, I did actually look upon certain YouTube videos on the Game Boy Advance / Game Boy Color custom-made cases, and it turns out I actually really enjoyed those kinds of videos because it seems interesting, because much like how I did for the Nintendo 64 custom-made game cases, that it actually feels kind of worth it because, well, usually, do you remember back in the day that Nintendo always attempted able to go for cardboard cases, as in the actual custom box art or anything else like that, which every once in a while that most people seem to able to either, well, usually it does have some creases or whatnot stuff, but most of the time that it usually becomes likely. I have no idea what I'm trying to say for this point, because I know it's been a couple of days since I actually did manage to able to play some of my Game Boy Advance stuff, but even though luckily I did manage to able to still play this game, as you can see, on my, not only in terms of the Let's Play on the emulator, but it's also, I think I was able to play it on my own time on the actual physical version. So even then though, but so far, I'm actually really enjoying it. So either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. And can you just bust out that enemy? Thank you. Anyway, so let's go ahead and use Jet Wario for the next treasure. And yes, Jet Wario is required to able to actually just to get to the next treasure. And the next treasure is actually not that far, so you have to keep on climbing upwards, and you found the actual treasure door, but luckily the key was actually nearby, so even then though, we're able to actually just bust out or punch that block, and toss it to the key in the right distance, and we're able to unlock the door straight away. So you could also do another trick too, by bashing onto the, not only the wall, but also that block. And then that way you can able to actually go up from there, which as you can see. And we're here, we got ourselves the crown, which almost something relates to the forms of Princess Peach's crown. But except this is all in black and white, so pretty much just because of the limitations of the actual Game Boy or something, so... It seems just kind of weird, although, gonna think about it, the only time that Peach does make an appearance in the Game Boy Mario games is, I think, it was from the likes of, well, we're not gonna spoil things majorly just yet though, just because, well, we've only just managed to get started with this game. Oh yes, this section. Oh yeah, much like the forms of, in other games, mainly with the forms of like the, oh, what's the other game I was gonna be thinking of? I totally forgot. Like in most other platformers, is that you have to be able to get a lot of usage of the forms of change direction platform. And the more you jump on that particular platform, then the arrow will able to change direction. Oh, speaking of such, Starman! And I believe you're able to get 10 hearts if you manage to get the hearts, but not only 10 hearts, but you also get 1 heart if you defeat the enemy. So that makes a grand total of 11 hearts you can able to obtain if you manage to equip a Starman. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And basically, much like the forms of Super Mario Land 1 and Super Mario Land 2, you'll be invincible for a few seconds, and then that way you can able to just, well, run into enemies and all the other jazz. Now, as far as you might as well know, something a little bit strange about Wario's speed if you manage to able to get into the forms of a goal screen. That's only because, until when you get to the future worlds throughout the game, basically Wario can no longer walk slowly during the course of the actual, the clear screen, and that way Wario can able to run much more faster in the later worlds, because in World 1, obviously Wario just walks very slowly, but in the World 2 and onwards, the speed may able to actually pick it up. So yeah, that's something worth noting for. And by the way, here we go on to level 12, or course number 12. Now, from here, as you can see for that chicken enemy, you can able to actually use these enemies to able to toss it right on top of the basket. And every time you do that, you're able to get not 1, but, well, not 2, but 3 10 coins. So that makes us a grand total of 30 coins to collect. So yeah. And luckily, if you manage to do that, the chicken enemy does able to respawn. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool though. Especially noticeable as a really great way to able to actually rank up more coins if you really want to go for the perfect ending of the game. So yeah, you should probably keep an eye out. So even then though, and of course the chicken will drop 3 10 coins. So even then though, that's how the maximum you can only able to carry for. So yeah, definitely worth noting for to recommend doing that method, because that way you can able to get the ridiculous amount of coins if you do that strategy. And of course, if you accidentally manage to able to bump into that chicken enemy over there, then he will not respawn after a while. So even then though, something's worth to keep an eye out. So anyway, so that's that, and let's go ahead and, I think I should probably deal with this enemy right here, and of course it falls into the lava. And by the way, this, you know what the forms of that particular, thing we got to avoid right now? We need to avoid a lot of lava here, because, much like in certain, Mario games for sure, you instantly die if you fell into the lava. So, yeah, you have to be very careful for that, so... Hopefully, with our careful timing jumps and what have you, I think we should be okay for the most part. So either way though, let's go ahead and get another 10 hearts, so that gives us an extra life, so that should be worth noting for. Oh gosh, these ghost-like enemies. I have no idea why I just managed to able to go like, oh god. But either way though, that wasn't until whenever we get into the forms of one of those later worlds in the game, that, oh boy, those enemies can be very annoying. But anyway, let's go ahead and do- No! Ah, dang it. I somehow made a mistake. Well, there's the first step of the playthrough. I'm guessing it's because I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah, I do apologize for that. But, anyway, and it's bad enough that I don't think this level contains any checkpoints whatsoever. So, we'll just have to go for it. So, yeah, that seems kind of obvious. So... oh well, not the end of the world, but at least we can able to actually grab some of these more coins again. Oh, and by the way, if you somehow die during the course of the level, you lose all of your coins. So, yeah, that might be a precursor to the forms of the next future Wario Land games. Well, to be more specifically, Wario Land 4, because a Wario Land 4... we'll talk more about that until whenever we get on to 2022, because, Obviously, much like in forms of the Mario Party games at this point, that usually Sonic is almost finishing up with, you know, Mario Party 3. And then after Mario Party 3, some toys else can able to do, well, Mario Party 4. And then I suppose Maxi can able to do Mario Party 5. And then some toys else can do Mario Party 6 by the end of the year. And, same here for the likes of Wario Land games, basically. Like, obviously doing Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, during in February, well, to be more specifically in winter. And as for Wario Land for the Virtual Boy, we'll do that at some point in, God knows, in March or April. God knows when. And as for Wario Land 2, it will be obviously be in summer. And finally, Wario Land 3 will be on autumn. And as far as Wario Land 4 and Wario Land The Shake Dimension, aka Wario Land Shake It, it will obviously be on the front of another portion of 2022. So, because that's how it usually goes with certain schedules as far as I'm usually concerned about that stuff. But anyways, let's try this part again and not be like, not to concentrate on this duck thing again. So either way though, thankfully we did manage to pass that, so that should be good to know. Anyway, so let's go ahead and climb all the way up, or just go from like, well, just keep on go climbing up. And hopefully we should be able to see that familiar door over there. And in here, we get ourselves an exclamation mark switch. Most of these levels usually contains some doors, and then most of the time it contains switches. So in this case, what this switch does? Well, if you manage to activate it, well, this will happen. You know that particular teapot lid that has been floating around the sky for a few seconds notice? Well, the actual lid is now on top of the teapot, so yeah, and this way, this will actually lead us to the next boss. And it's actually kind of weird that it's going to be located in the exact same level as in level 10 is. So, yeah, remember course number 10? Well, we're going to have to go back there again. Except the fact that it's now going to call it course number 13 now. And because again, we'll point it out whenever we get into that level. Because for now, let's go ahead and play some of the a luck-based kind of bonus game, so that way we can able to double the amount of coins as much as we can. And there we go, we reached to the maximum amount of coins already, so even though I kind of wish there was actually a skip button, so that way you can able to actually just make the game a little bit faster for you, but I just have no idea. But either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. So yeah, that's how it usually goes for that specific stuff. So either way though. Okay, something's worth mentioning for this point as well. Yes, I believe this game did came out on the 3DS eShop during the course of, well, in Japan it usually came out in 2011, but it wasn't until in the 2012 of 16th of February, both from Australia and European countries. Basically, we get Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 on the Nintendo 3DS eShop version. So, yeah, that's what I pointed out for that certain release dates in mind. So, anyways, now let's go ahead and head back on to the previous segment of Mount Teapot, but now usually calls it Course 13. So yeah, it's very similar to Course 10, basically, but there are some slight differences every now and then. Like, for one, well, there's gonna be a lot less water in here this time around, though. And second of all, oh, dang it, I hate these seahorse enemies. They always get in my way. Especially noticeable, they actually have spikes on the back. Oh well, we'll try that again, but this time we'll able to do it successfully. So either way though, that's some sort of like feels like an embarrassing start. But either way though, we'll try that again. So anyway, this level's very similar to Course 10, except the fact that, well, the water is now lowered. And second of all is the fact that there might be some sort of like that door that we'd never actually come across into before. But either that though, we'll point it out whenever we get into that stuff. So either way though, I think I'm gonna explore it again. Yep, I'm gonna get exploded again. But thankfully, we got ourselves the garlic, so even then we're able to obtain that. So, that should be good. And jump over to those stupid hermit crab enemies, and get a heart just in case if we're about to, well, get 10 more hearts, so hopefully that should be the case. And oh boy, we got a Jet Wario, so at least we can able to get that, but sometimes my jump precisioning stuff isn't exactly the most relevant or accurate thing in the world, but either way, we got it anyway, so... And believe it or not, you can able to jump them on their heads, so that way it can instantly just kill them, so that should be good, so... Anyway, and it seems to be more specifically, we're almost done with this world. Although this world might take a bit while to complete, or else unlike in certain other worlds that, we'll point it out whenever we get into them. But for now, oh jeez Louise, that was so close. I'm almost gonna get myself screwed over for a second, because if I somehow gonna get hit multiple times, then otherwise, I'm gonna blame on the forms of that stupid hermit crabs. But either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. Alright, so there's nothing we can do from there because I think this will actually lead us to the goal from course 10, so there's nothing to worry about it. Because instead of going there, we need to go into that door over there. And from here... Oh, jeez Louise, that frog is about to chasing after me! Which, again, that it will kill you instantly if you manage to touch the sides of the swamp. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't think there's anything we can just do from there, well, aside from waiting for a few points worth noting for. And there's that Thwomp is gonna go all the way to the right, and he's gonna kill himself. So yeah, there's nothing else to worry about. And here we go with the next boss in the game, which he's actually known as Minotaur. And he's by far the easiest boss in the game. As soon as you are able to stun him, then you have to toss him into the lava, and that's pretty much about it for the sake of this boss. Yeah, not that hard at all, even though despite the fact that I somehow got hit. So, whatever, but at least either way, Mount Teapot World is completed. So even then though, and it seems to be more specifically, we actually got ourselves about 238 coins total, but since we actually got quite a lot of coins, let's go and play the actual a luck-based kind of gamble, like 50-50 chance game. So either way though, and hopefully we should be able to max out our coins counter up to 999 again. But either way though, sometimes you never know until you're able to actually reach that amount. So yeah, that might be some stuff for that such. Yeah, we'll take a break from here because I think 952 coins might actually be enough. So I really refuse to able to go for a third round just because if I get very unlucky, I will lose a half portion. So probably not gonna risk it too much. So. Oh boy, we actually now on to 4,000 coins already, so yeah, we're actually doing pretty well. Even though despite the fact that this is played on the emulator, so yeah, I apologize for that for the sake of that thing itself for this point folks. But either way though, that's how I can usually think about it. There we go, 4,236 coins we've got in total. And then once you complete that world normally, then you were able to actually go to the next world, which is Stove Canyon. But let's not go there just yet though, because we're going to be hit on to the next world, which again is more likely the optional world of the game. But either way though, the next world in this game I'm about to be hit into is known as soon as we're able to get inside the actual world, Sherbet Land. Not to be confused as Mario Kart 64 track Sherbet Land, and same applies to Double Dash as well. So I'm gonna have to end things off here, so join me next time on Let's Play Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. It's the fact that we're moving on to Sherbet Land next, so I'll see you guys until on Tuesday. Later fellas.